From Homedale to Salmon River, District 3 has several teams that don't always get their due. Stepping outside the shadows of the SIC, this is the Treasure Valley Prepcast with Logan Green.
That's right. It's another edition of the Treasure Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, your weekly download for all of the 3A, 2A, 1A action going on in District 3. Brandon Baney, as always, joined by Logan Green. Logan, what's up?
Not much, just breaking out my nice little Garden Valley hat that I got from some good fans there at Garden Valley. Actually, I wear this whenever I go up to Garden Valley so that I fit in and I look like a local. And, one time we went camping, up Loman area, and a bunch of trees fell on the road and got stuck there in Crouch, Garden Valley for like 4 hours. I wore this around proudly, and everybody just thought, oh yeah, he's one of the guys around here, when really I was just an imposter pretending to be a local, but I got away with it.
Again, if you're watching the video version of this podcast on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel or Facebook page, you can see that really nice looking Garden Valley Wolverines hat that Logan's got on. Audio only. You'll just have to take our word for it. You can listen to the audio only version of the podcast at IdahoSports.com or wherever you download your podcasts. You're an outsider in terms of, like, you grew up in North Carolina, right? And you're still a relatively new resident of Idaho in terms of the longtime residents, but you fit in because I don't know what the deal is, but the locals in Idaho kind of have a little Southern twang to their accent. Have you ever noticed that, Logan?
Yeah, there are different accents in different parts of the state. So, yeah. I have lived in Idaho for 10 years. So, so I moved to Idaho in 2008. And then, so really, I guess the majority of the last 14 years, with like a year gone here and there. So probably we'll just say 12. So about the past 10 to 12 years, I've lived all of my time in Idaho, but my wife's family's from here. So I kind of claim myself as a local because of that. One thing though, I've noticed with the accent, especially in Eastern Idaho, we can dish on them because this is a Western Idaho Prepcast, right? But, like, they draw out their people give me crap all the time for the way I say things, especially the word. If my wife, there's no way she's listening to this or will, but she gives me the hardest time for okay, Brandon, the peanut butter cup candy. What do you call that?
It's Reese's. Yeah.
See, my whole life I said Reese's, like that. That's how it was. So, I get it. And am I wrong? Yeah, I do, but I can't. I've been going this hard for 32 years. I can't let it down now. I can't let it down. But in Eastern Idaho, you'll hear it. They do something different with their E's. So, like, if I want to feel this hat, FEEL, it will be, I want to fill this hat. Listen for it. I'm serious. It's that East. I don't know what it is. It's the only part that it has that. Or we're gonna go out for not a meal, but a meal. We're going to go out for a nice meal. And it's always one that whenever I go back to family over there, I always hear it. And I'm like, oh, there it is. The drawing of the E's.
And I've heard bag instead of bag.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one.
I got a bag of groceries.
Okay. I got another one for you. So the nut that's in a shell in a pie.
Oh, that's a pecan.
No, it's not. It's a pecan.
No.
Yeah,
I went to New Orleans and I had a local tell me it is pronounced pecan, and they will slap you if you say it.
Dude, so my uncle, he has a huge pecan tree in his yard, and my summers were spent cracking pecans. And every time I go back home, that's what I want. They'll just have buckets of them. Like, I'm not kidding. 5-gallon buckets, multiple of them just lined up with pecans in the shell, and we'll just sit down and crack them. And I spent a lot of time cracking pecans, and it's fun to do, but it's pecan, I promise. Anybody that tells you differently, they're wrong. Okay. New Orleans, that's a whole different world over there. That's that's a different type of Southern speech down there. But I'm sure nobody wants to listen to another 3 minutes of Logan and Brandon discussing accents here on the Treasure Valley Prepcast. But
yeah, we'll reel it.
here we are.
We'll reel it back in. My one last one though. My good friend Scott Gross. He's a local radio broadcaster in Pocatello, but he says Pocatello. We've got a big game tonight with the Pocatello. Yeah.
That's my wife's grandma. She born and raised in Manan, Idaho, over outside of Rigby, and she always said that exact same Pocatello.
Yeah. So,
that's funny. That's a good one.
Yep, for sure. All right. 5 minutes in. We're doing great here, Logan.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Let's talk about some postseason hoops. Girls basketball has officially started with district tournament play in some of the conferences. Some will get started later this week. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon, February 2nd. So if you're following along on the video version of this podcast, I'm going to share my screen and you can see the brackets up on the screen. You'll want to go full size on your screen so you can actually see it clearly. If you're listening audio only, you're still covered. We've got all of the district brackets right on the homepage at IdahoSports.com. It's the first thing you see when you go there. And not just for District 3, but we've got all the districts, 5A, all the way down to 1A, D2. So you can look at all the girls' district brackets there. But we're going to put them up on the screen as we talk, so it's a little clearer. Let's start with the districts that have actually had some play-in games and things like that.
Let's hear it, Greg.
Well, I think we have to start with the Western Idaho Conference. This is a monumental 10-team league, and as we see, a couple of play-in games already decided. The I can't do the great.
That's pretty good, Brandon.
Yeah, I've been working on it. So we actually did have a quote unquote upset, if you will, last night. Number 9 Riverstone did defeat number 8 North Star Charter 27-23. And so for a Riverstone team, they've got a new coach this year in Mike Cole. They've been through the ringer a little bit. It's been ups and downs, but they get a win at districts, and they're now the number 8 seed in the 8-team affair. The other playing game last night saw number 7 Victory Charter defeat number 10 Gem State 57-13. So now what you have is tomorrow, Thursday, February 3rd, all of the higher seeded teams will host first round games. So number 1 Notice will host number 8 Riverstone. Number 4 Idaho City will host number 5 Greenleaf. Number 2 Liberty Charter will host number 7 Victory Charter. And number 3 Rimrock will host number 6 Wilder. Does anything stand out to you there, Logan?
Well, first, I want to note down there at the bottom of your screen, 18 degrees. And it's brutal in Pocatello. Mine says 35. So, so I get the win there, Brandon.
Yeah, no doubt.
But no, I just, we talked about it all season long that getting that number 1 seed was so critical, and Notice getting it's huge. Of course, they did roll through conference very well. That one loss coming there at the very end to Idaho City, which could potentially be a second round matchup. I think that second round matchup for, let's just say Notice gets past Riverstone, whoever it is, if it's Greenleaf or Idaho City, it's going to be tough. But it's one that I think Notice can come away with a win. And when you get down to the other side, if we have a Rimrock Liberty Charter game, which, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's just what we think will happen, right? Just based on regular season standings. And I mean, really, the semifinals of this tournament, those are the big games. If you win that semifinal game, you're in. It does not matter what you do the next day or, on the 11th. It's great to win your conference, and obviously you want to do that. But, honestly, if this is baseball and I need my ace on the mound, they're showing up for that semifinal game rather than the championship game. That's the one that you want to come out firing for, because you got to win that. You win that, you're at state, and then, little pressure off your back in that championship. And you know what? I like Notice, and I just like Rimrock too. I know Rimrock is Liberty Charter was the one that we didn't know how they would perform this year with the loss of some of their key players, but I think Rimrock gets it done. That's kind of an outside pick, I know, but I'm thinking Rimrock and Notice get the bids here from District 3.
Of all those teams that are up on the screen, one of them made it into the top 5 in the coaches poll that was released earlier today, Logan. Do you know which team it was?
Liberty Charter.
It was Rimrock.
Rimrock. Oh no, I didn't look at it close enough, I guess.
It was Rimrock. So it's surprising. It's not surprising because they're a team that got to state last year, right? And they have a lot of pedigree. They've been very competitive the last several years. I agree. Again, no way to fight back through the consolation bracket. You lose and you're still on the other side, but there's no way to play. You see right there, third place does not advance to state. So doesn't even have a chance to. How about, you talked about Notice just lost to Idaho City. What if the Pirates fall again and they a 10-1 record in the regular, or a 9-1 record in the regular season in the conference, and they don't get to fight for the chance to go to state? It'd be gut wrenching. And
it really
is what it is.
And when you look at the standings this year, in this conference, we've talked about it all year long and how wide open it is. But let's say Idaho City or Greenleaf comes away with a win there. Greenleaf sitting at 9-9 overall in the season, and Idaho City is 6-9. Let's just say Idaho City wins this game and then they win the next. You're probably going to see a team with a losing record at state, and Idaho City, or Notice, 10 games over 500 right now, not going. So it just, again, the importance of this district tournament, sometimes I think it's almost too much. That maybe, we've talked about this before here. I don't know what the solution is, if it's expanding the tournament, if it's giving some at-large bids on the side. I don't know. But it would be a shame to see a team that's playing as well as Notice has all year not make it.
Yeah, that's a good conversation for the sports boards. Maybe we'll start we'll start up a convo on the sports boards, our online message boards where fans can mix it up with other fans. Sportsboards.com is where you go to sign up there. It's the message boards. You can talk a little smack if you want. That's definitely encouraged. Talk about the big issues like how do we get the 8 best teams to state, because currently that's not happening. So a lot of good conversation going on at sportsboards.com. All right, the other district tournament that has already started is Class 2A District 3, the other Western Idaho Conference. We had play-in games last night. Number 5 Ambrose defeats number 8 Vision Charter 46-6. Number 6 Marsing defeats number 7 Compass Charter 53-31. I don't think either of those really surprised anybody. And now you've got not playing games, but first round games tomorrow night. So for Ambrose and Marsing, they're having to play for the second time in 3 nights. Ambrose, the 5 seed, will play at number 4 Nampa Christian, and Marsing, the 6 seed, will play at number 3 New Plymouth. Number 1 Coal Valley Christian, number 2 Melba. They get first round buys. They're automatically into the semifinals.
I think this is one of the best brackets that you're going to see. I love the setup because, again, we've talked about it, that in reality, the regular season, quote, does not matter, right? It just depends on how you do at your district tournament. But this tournament gives you the incentive, not that anybody doesn't have the incentive to play well in the regular season, but you finish 1 or 2, you have 1 game to win, and then you're going to state. That's it. You just need to win 1 game. And right here, then of course also, but if you lose just that 1 game, you don't, have to play through the loser bracket and go that way. But a great benefit to playing well in the regular season, you get a bye. They're going to have to go slug it out with another good team. Ambrose, Nampa Christian should be a good matchup. New Plymouth, Marsing as well. And then they're going to come into those games having just played. Like, if you're Ambrose and you win that game, that semifinal game we see is on the 5th on Saturday. They would have played 3 big games this week leading up to it. That's a lot of pressure, a lot of heavy legs coming into that game. Coal Valley would have the advantage there. Same thing with if Marsing were to beat New Plymouth. You got to think that plays into account somewhat. But again, I like the way it's set up in that the first 2 teams get a bye into the next round automatically.
Yeah, Coal Valley went 12-0 in the league this year. They're the favorites. Melba went 9-3. They lost to Coal Valley twice. The third loss came to Nampa Christian. They're on the other side of the bracket, so I don't even have to worry about that. So what are we thinking here? Coal Valley, Melba, round 3 for the title?
I mean, that's the cookie cutter answer, but probably. I mean, that's just what it looks like to me. And then I like New Plymouth to come out the other side and advance to that play-in game. Of course, they will get that second seed in District 5, who, looking at it right now, might be Aberdeen.
Yeah.
which will be a tough matchup. That one, Aberdeen girls teams looked very good this year.
They've got some size with the Watson girls underneath. I like Nampa Christian to get that 3rd spot personally, but anything can happen.
All right.
We'll see.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Other brackets that will get started soon. You see, tomorrow night we'll have the opening round games for the Snake River Valley Conference. This is Class 3A. Fruitland got the 1 seed. Parma got the 2 seed. They get first round buys. And then you've got number 4 Homedale against number 5 McCall Donnelly and number 3 Weiser against number 6 Payette. So Fruitland did hang on and win the regular season title. I still lean Parma, though, in terms of, in a district tournament setting. But either way, I think Fruitland and Parma both set up really well here.
Yeah, and one thing I failed to mention in the last bracket for 2A, but the 3A here shows it too. We're going to have 2 teams here and then 2 teams in that 2A bracket that will have a ticket punched to state this weekend. So we will know 4 teams in from District 3 this weekend. It'll come Saturday night when these 2 games are played between Fruitland and then the winner of Homedale and McCall Donnelly, and then Parma and the winner of Weiser and Payette. Because the winner of those, as you see it here on the bracket, game 3 and game 4 on Saturday, those 2 are in. They will play in a championship game. Again, that's the one you want to win. This is also a bracket that is set up almost exactly the same as the District 2 bracket, where the top 2 get a bye. If they win that first game, they are in. And again, it's going to be crucial to win those 2 automatic bids, because you are not going to want that play-in game. It's going to be brutal. I don't know if the District 3 team, I mean, you never know till it gets on the court, but that play-in game is going to be played against, it's going to come against Kellogg or Timberlake, most likely.
Yeah.
And we obviously know what Timberlake is. They just have dominated the state tournament the last couple of years, and Kellogg beat them. So that's going to be a tough matchup for whoever gets that spot. So nobody wants it. But again, Brandon, I kind of agree with you. I think Parma gets it done. They did lose to Weiser, and that was kind of the head scratcher we talked about last week. But I think Parma gets it done, and I think Parma takes the whole thing, to be honest. I think Parma comes away with the district championship here in District 3.
Who gets that 3rd spot to the play-in game?
I think it's going to go Weiser. I just think they've played well down the stretch, including that win against Parma. I think that goes a long way for them, and that I think Weiser will be the one going on to play Kellogg or Timberlake up in Grangeville. And I don't know about that. I tend to lead, Kellogg or Timberlake. It will probably be the one coming out of there.
Yeah, that's how I feel it's going to go too.
It's not a disrespect. It's just what we see on paper. And yeah. I'm glad to be wrong. I am more than happy to see McCall Donnelly or Payette come and win this thing. Nothing would make me happier.
Trust your gut, Logan. Remember, you were liking Nampa Christian a lot in football season, and
yeah, that's true
for you. Yeah,
that's true. It did. Look out.
Trust your gut. Okay, long pin conference. Nothing has changed. We actually showed you this bracket last week. The bracket was set for like 2.5 weeks, and they're like the last one to get going. They play on Saturday because there's only 4 teams. Council, the 1 seed, they'll play number 4 Cascade, number 2 Tri-Valley against number 3 Garden Valley. Those games are on Saturday. Similar deal, Logan, where you get to the championship game, you feel pretty good about your chances. 2 teams get to go to state. 3rd place will challenge 2nd place for that 2nd spot, but we kind of already broke this down last week. We still think Council and probably Tri-Valley, the 2 favorites there. So
yeah, Tri-Valley, the defending champs, kind of seems like they're catching more of their groove this year or later in the season, and then Council has just been on a tear. against everyone this year. So
Yeah.
I think it's Council and Tri-Valley. Unfortunately for my Wolverines on my hat, I don't think that it's a year of the Wolverine this year, and that Council and Tri-Valley get those 2 bids.
Yeah, maybe on the boys' side, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So those are the girls' district brackets, and then we just wanted to end the show real quick with just kind of a quick look at what's going on in boys basketball. Still in regular season competition, we got about 2 weeks to go in the regular season, and there's some big matchups coming up. I mean, we can just start at the 3A level and work our way down, but 3A, you've got this kind of jumble between McCall Donnelly and Fruitland and Homedale. They're all within a game of each other in the loss column in the standings, and you will have McCall Donnelly play at Fruitland Friday and then Homedale next Tuesday. And if the Vandals take care of business there, they pretty much wrap it up.
Yeah, those are the two biggest games of the season for them, besides the first matchup. But those are 2 critical games, and you got to come away with wins there because, again, getting that top seed is so important in this tournament to get that bye. You see it in the girls bracket, and it's just a crucial piece that you got to have.
Yep, for sure. And then the 2A as well, right? Ambrose, Melba, the rematch. It comes on Friday night. That is going to be in Melba. Should be a pretty fun matchup. And then also a kind of a sneaky game tonight, Wednesday night. You've got Nampa Christian against Coal Valley Christian, and both of those teams have sleeper appeal. And kind of like the girls, we talked about the 3rd place team from District 3 will get a play-in game against the 2nd place team from District 5, and I think whoever gets that, the 3rd place team wins easily. District 5 is not very good for 2A basketball this year, so yeah.
And looking at this though from the boys' side, if you look at the standings, like I just got them up over here. Move it over here. But Melba, Ambrose, both with 1 loss. Ambrose has that loss to, they lost a couple weeks ago to Nampa Christian, and then they lost to Oakley last week or 2 Saturdays ago. Oakley, a very good 1A D1 school, but I think it probably says more about Oakley than it does about Ambrose. I think it just shows that Oakley's legit and that they're here, ready to go. I saw them a couple weeks ago. Actually, I guess it's a couple months ago at that small school showcase, and they looked good then, as usual. But tell you, they had a close game. Did Ambrose, can't get my words out, again on Saturday against Coal Valley, 53-50 in that game on Saturday night. So Coal Valley just kind of hanging around, and then Nampa Christian got the upset. I still think you still got to like Ambrose. You still got to like Melba, but do not be shocked. I just think anybody out there, if you see Nampa Christian sneak their way in, or if you see Coal Valley Christian sneak their way in, I think it is very possible. They have just been right there, both of those teams. You saw Nampa Christian get the best of them 2 weeks ago, and Coal Valley has just been right there. And you see this in other sports where a team is just right there, and then they finally get over that hump that last time they play in the playoffs or Game 7, whatever you want to call it. And would not be surprising to see Nampa Christian or Coal Valley come out and pull an upset in one of those games.
Yeah, and for Nampa Christian, it's kind of unfinished business. I believe they were the 2-seeded districts last year and went 2-0. They got upset a couple of times.
Yeah.
But
I know, like you said, there's most likely we're going to see 3 get in here because District 5 just kind of a mess, and that play-in game will. I agree. I think whoever is the 3rd team out of the conference in the tournament gets the at-large bid.
Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun to dissect and break down. But right now, we're kind of honed in on girls basketball because that's what's happening in terms of postseason. We'll have a lot more to talk about. We'll have some state bids to hand out next week, Logan. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it should be super fun. Love putting the bracket together. There's going to be teams in there. We won't know where they will be like we have in the past because, in the past we knew that, the 2nd place team from District 3 would play the 1st place team from District 6 or whatever it was. But this year we'll have to wait for those max preps rankings to come out. And I don't even know if they're fully accurate at this moment. Some teams haven't put everything in there. Like I was looking the other day, and some teams don't even have hardly any games in max preps. And eventually, and this is where it gets dicey, where what if somebody just like forgets to put a game in there and it affects their standing? Like
it happened in volleyball. I mean, until it's regulated more closely, I mean, it is what it is. You can't put a system in place and then not monitor it, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's just like we're going to use this, but we're not going to really make sure anybody actually uses it.
Yeah, and we should be clear: 97% of the schools are very good about getting their scores in, but there's just a handful for whatever reason just don't seem to. And I mean, at IdahoSports.com, we do our best to get the most accurate. We're still missing one or two Hagerman. Okay, I can call them out because they're not they're not on this podcast. Hagerman, please. But otherwise, we're doing pretty good. So, yeah. Anyways, that's another topic for another day. So
yeah, it should. Well, I mean, we can try and see where people will line up. You know, we can have somewhat of an idea, but I mean, I was just looking at those max prep rankings though, and the number 2 boys team across all, if you do a ranking on all classifications, is Lapway.
Yeah,
that's one I would love to see Lapway play in that 5A tournament against like a Waihe or Eagle. That would be fun to see because man, they already beat Coeur d'Alene, who is pushing the top 5 boys team. And they beat them by double digits too. Like they might be the best team in the state.
And they beat Lewiston as well.
Yeah, beat them by like 20, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They might be the best team in the state, and they're right there at the 1A level. It just shows. I thought that a couple years ago. I did the 1A D1 tournament, or it was D2, and Lakeside ran away with it, and I thought that they could have beat. I did a lot of 4A games during regular season, and I thought that Lakeside team could have beat any of those 4A teams I had seen. And obviously you're seeing that with Lapway this year.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch Lapway's dominance for sure. One last note on Lapway. This will tie back to our 2A fans that are watching this. Big matchup this week. Lapway plays St. Mary's, which is really good. The defending 2A champs. That is the only game in which Lapway has been challenged this year. They won 59-52. Every other game has been a win by, I'm pretty sure, double digits. And so the rematch comes this week. And for those Ambrose Melba fans that want to know how real is St. Mary's, we'll see this week when they play Lapway again. But they played them pretty tough the first time. So
yeah, Ambrose took care of St. Mary's in that rematch of the state championship. A couple months ago back at the Hawaii tournament, but that's months ago. These are different teams. Everybody's a different team than they were in December. I don't know if you can count that now. You got to look, and if St. Mary's can hang around again, look out, because really nobody's been. What Prairie is second in that conference, and Lapway beat them by like 50 or something like that. It was bad. They're legit. So we're all just gonna watch Lapway run through the D1 tournament, and they're just stopping in for a trophy real quick, play a couple scrimmages and get out. I'm just kidding. They're just so good. Fun to watch. So I think we're doing that, aren't we? Are we on the D1 boys, Brandon? We're on the D1 girls together.
D1 girls, and we could try and get on the D1 boys.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun in there. But anyway, we'll see. Should be fun watching all these teams punch their tickets this week. It's always fun. It's one of the worst things, but also one of the best things is I love seeing teams, the excitement of getting into district, but then on the other side, you just have the dejection of the team that doesn't. It's tough. It's a tough, at the end of the day, someone's going to be very happy and someone's done going home. And it's just the nature of the beast, though.
Yeah. So lots more to talk about next week on another edition of the Treasure Valley Prepcast. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. For Logan Green, I'm Brandon Baney. We'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.